Hey y'all, I'm your host Micaiah Davis. Welcome back to season 3 of Something About Our 20s. I'm so excited to get back into the seasons, and I have a special guest with us today, Mo.
Hey.
She's a creative, a designer. She does all the things in a fashion girly. You do. So this season we're getting into a lot, but this episode is specifically about making friends and adulthood, which is a big topic because I don't know about y'all, but it can be hard to make and maintain friends in adulthood. Maintain. Emphasis on maintain.
Okay.
So we know as we navigate through adulthood, some of us continue to nurture our childhood friendships from close bonds we made in high school or college, or we face challenges in maintaining, like we said, or finding friendships when you're transitioning out of environments that make you have to make friends. Like proximity is mainly the reason why we made some of those friends when we were in high school and stuff, because we had to see you every day. Well, first, let me start before we get into friendship dynamics. I want you to go ahead, introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about you, your age. Let's talk about that first.
Okay. First off, thank you for the intro, girl.
Yes,
I'm so
girl.
excited to be here, y'all. I'm so proud of Micaiah. Ever since we've been in high school, just seeing her progress. I just love the black girl magic that she gives, that she brings to the TL. I know that's right.
Thank you, girl.
So yes, big on giving black women their flowers. Okay.
Period. We need to.
Yeah. But hey, girl, as she said, my name is Mo. At least that's what I go by. I am a creative. I am a design enthusiast. I am a curious girly at heart. So all thing like empathy, that's just what I've been working on in this season. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Empathy.
In my work, empathy.
Why empathy?
Okay, so I just transitioned into UI UX design, and that's kind of like the design side of tech. So we do apps, we might do a logo, but the big part of UI UX design is being empathetic towards who you're designing for. So whether they may have a disability, we call them temporary or momentarily disabilities, or like just permanent disabilities. And so I think that that's one of the biggest things that has been driving my calling in this point in my life. Designing is fun, and making cute stuff is cool.
That's a lot. Like, you are super talented to be able to design stuff.
You,
oh my god, that's crazy.
I be like, got me. But no, but designing stuff is really cool. But I found that, like, okay, so what's my purpose? Like, I can design pretty stuff, but what really is it impacting? And so I went through a phase where I was like, I like making cute stuff, but what is it really doing for people? And so I feel like I really found my groove with UI UX design, and like being able to empathize with people and making something that's actually impacting their lives in a good way. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer.
No, I love that, because some people don't know what UI UX design is. So I'm glad that you talked about that. And empathy has a lot to do with relationships, like maintaining relationships. So to give a backstory, me and Mo met each other in high school. So I love to have seen how you have grown over the years since high school. And I'm glad we're having this conversation. Just like our first sit down conversation for real since high school.
You know what's so funny? I have pictures in us of on our last day, like pajama day, in my phone. I'm like, I'm gonna show this.
That is so
I'm gonna
crazy.
show it to you later, but I'm like, it's so funny. Like, baby us,
Baby cute. Us is crazy. High school was so long ago. No, I'm just playing. It wasn't that long ago.
It was long ago, sis. It was. It was.
Stop.
We about to be 10 years.
10 years is crazy. I don't even want to think about that. So let's get into friendship dynamics.
Yes.
How have your friendship dynamics changed as you've navigated through adulthood?
I would say they changed a lot, but more specifically in this season, and especially into like my mid to late 20s, it's just about back to like that thing of like empathizing with people, right? Because I might have one homegirl who is navigating motherhood for the first time, one homegirl who may have lost a loved one, another homegirl who just is navigating a divorce, one is getting married. So it's like really having to meet them where they are and show up how they want me to show up in that season, and vice versa. Like just reading the room, I think is important.
It's extremely important, because I feel like even though we're all in our 20s, we're in different stages. Like you said, some people are getting married, some people are becoming moms, and some of us are just still
figuring
trying to figure it out.
Yes.
Like, just because you're in different stages doesn't mean that you can't show up for that friend too. I feel like my friendship dynamics have changed. I still have most of my childhood friends, but I also have gained friends after college. So those dynamics have changed, just of like continuing to nurture the childhood friendships, but also the whole experience of having to let go of some friendships and learning to meet new people and be open to gaining more friends.
It's the balance. Yeah.
So would you say you still have childhood friends?
So this it's a funny time. When I saw this question, I was like, oh, this is so funny, because I actually was very like sheltered when I was in high school, or even just as a kid in general. So I might have people where it's like, we know each other, like we were cool in high school, whatever, but like my very, very close, I call them my intimates. I only had one intimate friend, and it wasn't as of literally like recently that we kind of like severed that friendship. So I only had like one really close,
you did.
Like
now that I think about
high
it,
school or like even like childhood quote unquote friend, and it just kind of like withered. And still love there, but definitely just like outgrew one another. Yeah. And that's like the hard part sometimes.
So hard.
Like you gotta show people grace, I feel like, and that's just been my thing of like, okay, you know, they're still figuring it out. You have to have grace for people who are still figuring it out, and vice versa. But also it's like the growth is different, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Still love them though.
It's always still love. But that is the thing when you have childhood friends. Sometimes you outgrow some of your childhood friends. Sometimes y'all just go separate ways, and I can agree with that too, because in high school, like towards the freshman year and going throughout like grade school, I had different best friends and close friends than I had come my senior year. And so the whole outgrowing certain friends is hard, because it's like, dang, it's still love there, but we just are not connecting. I don't even know who you are. Like as we get older, a lot of people start to change, and sometimes it's like, can I vibe with the way you're changing, or is it, done?
And it's like, that's why I said I love to like show grace for people where they at. I'm not one of those people who I feel like, oh, if I'm progressing in this way in life, if I got a car and about to get a house and about to get married, like if you're not on the type wave, we can't be friends. I'm not that. I'm definitely, like I said, big on meeting people where they are, but there's definitely a thing where I wanted to also add this, like setting boundaries for myself and knowing like, okay, what's capacity for me, and allowing people to also like have that same like energy towards me. Like we might not just, it's just, the grace is just outgracing.
Exactly. We might not mesh anymore. Yeah. And I think that that's not fair to say, if you ain't on track to get married, if you ain't getting you a new car and building businesses, then we can't be friends. Why can't people have their own life and y'all still be able to be friends? Because when we was growing up, we wasn't on we was on different waves, and that was okay. So why is it a problem now? And I don't like that.
And my thing is that doesn't determine like the actual substance of that person, right?
Exactly.
They might not have the things, quote unquote, but you might have another homegirl who have the things, and is just like a trash friend.
Yes, because
it look like good on paper. It look good when y'all go out of town and stuff. Like that might be your travel homegirl, but it's like when it actually comes down to showing up for you, that homegirl who is figuring it out still is, you know what I'm saying? Like the substance of the friendship, I think that needs to be like evaluated a little bit more.
It does.
And I'll talk about that a little bit more, but like I feel like social media
does. It makes you think. We're gonna get into that too. But I also want to add, I think that we need to stop attaching our worth and our value to what we have going on in life. Your job could be there today and gone tomorrow. You can have that business today, it could be gone tomorrow. Money comes and goes. Like, it's about you as a person that's important. So hold on to that, child, because we're gonna need it as we continue to go out.
You got the homegirls that is can what they call it, weather the storm, or quote unquote, with boundaries, right? With boundaries. But if you have those homegirls, definitely hold tight to them, because I hate to say it, but in this day and age, it feels like it's becoming more rare and rare, and I don't like that. It
is. So let's talk about how outgrowing friendships can impact you. How did outgrowing, that friend impact you?
So I like look at this question from kind of like two versions of Talijah, or two versions of Mo. The past version of me would have taken it as a personal attack, as like my values, or how valuable I am to that person in their life, or did I do something wrong, or what could I did better. But me now, the the grown me, the healed version of me understands that sometimes it's just like not the season. And that's okay. That isn't a personal attack towards me and my personality and my value, but it also isn't a personal attack towards the other person. I feel like it's a balance of knowing when to take things personally and when not to take things personal.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. When I've outgrown friendships, and I feel like I've outgrown friendships like after high school and also college, I think both really affected me just because I'm a lover. Like, I love really hard and I'm very loyal to my friends. It was hard to just get past the routine of having that friend to lean on, just of like, you know, thinking about memories that come up in your head because you made so many memories with these friends.
It be the memories.
It's the memories.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like that. We really had a good time. Like, what happened? I'll keep that coming.
No, it's the memories for real. Because when I think about college, I be like, dang, like, it be videos popping up. I be like, we had a good time that night. I want to talk about it. Can't talk about it. Not friends no more. Can't talk about it. So the memories do hit.
Yeah.
But also, it's like the process of healing afterwards, because sometimes when you outgrow a friendship, it can end bad, and things can be said that weren't right, or it just falls off in a way that you didn't want. So healing from that and trying to get over that is kind of a thing that I had to really navigate, and it was hard for me. I had to really like sit, journal through everything I needed to do to just process my feelings, because it's like a relationship has gone. So that does hurt. Like,
it did for sure. And for me, it was like I had to sit down and understand who was I really in that person's life, right? Because like I went through a thing in college kind of similarly to where I had a friend, and this is what I learned, like, just because you consider a person to be a quote unquote everything friend, they may not consider you. And that was like, that was something that really, really hit me hard for some odd reason in college, because I'm thinking this is my homegirl, you know, that's my bestie. But when it really came down to it, it hurt my feelings so bad because I felt like they didn't look at me in that same way. But just because I had to learn, like, just because you consider someone in that same regard doesn't mean that they have to reciprocate that. You just have to learn your place in people's lives,
which is hard.
Yeah, it's hard. And like sometimes you might get put in a category in someone's life that you feel like dag, I thought we were better or we were closer than that. But I just had to learn, like, okay, now, like I said, healed me now when someone doesn't necessarily have to verbalize like, oh, you're not my best, or, you know, but it's like I can see where I am and I just play my role in that place. I don't believe in overplaying my role, because in the past when I overplayed my role in people's lives, platonically, specifically speaking, it just got me somewhere to where I'm like, oh, I'm hurt. I thought we were better than that.
Exactly. you pouring all of this into that friendship, and it's like, you only giving me half of what I'm giving you. I thought we were on the same page. I think looking back healed me now. Can look back at, like, for example, the college friendships that didn't last. It was more so a fact of, I wouldn't do that to you, so why would you do that to me? And I had to realize people aren't like you, and I had to stop being like, she shouldn't do that because I wouldn't do that, and she shouldn't be talking about this because I wouldn't be talking about that. She wasn't me,
right?
So I had to think about, how is she? What behaviors have I seen before? And I really can't be surprised, but I can be hurt. So it's just like not expecting you out of people is something that we really have to learn, because we will get disappointed every single time.
And a lot of times people telling themselves.
They do. You be seeing it, but you don't want to.
Like, nah,
that's my girl. Like, I'm not paying attention to that. Like, you know.
If they would do it to their friend they've been with since they've been 6, they're probably
gonna do it to you too. Exactly.
I love to see the growth in people, though. I like to believe that. I like to be optimistic and believe that people can change. I do believe that, but it's like if they haven't taken that like accountability, it's probably not gonna happen. It's probably gonna be the same outcome.
So if you keep seeing little flags, don't look over them, because be careful. Be careful.
The flags are there for a reason.
So what type of friend are you? And this could be like, you know, anything. What type of friend would you say you are?
okay, what type of friend am I? When I read this question, I was like, what type of friend am I? I like to consider myself to be the everything friend, right? So if you want to go to church, let's go to church. If you want to go outside and have a good time, you want to go out the country to a different country, let's do it, sis. I'm down. But I also am the friend that has boundaries as well. And before things get to where it's like, okay, it's a little bit too weird, I try my best to communicate that and give the other person time to assess and like give me a response before I assume the worst out of the situation, because I know I'm that type of person where I overthink. I'm an overthinker. Same. That's the type of person that I am in general, so that's the type of friend I'm going to be. I will overthink something. And so now I'm learning that I will, like, say for instance, I had an instance where I feel like a friend did something a little bit questionable. It was one of those like, girl, I wouldn't do that to you. And so instead of me not saying anything and letting it get weird, because that's usually what I would do in the past.
That's what happens.
Yeah, I would do that in the past. That's kind of what happened with another past friendship. I let it get too weird before I spoke up, because I was scared to be vulnerable. But now I'm not scared of vulnerability. I embrace it. I think that's the thing that we need to kind of get back to, is embracing vulnerability within friendships. But anywho, I let her know that, hey girl, I feel like this was a little weird. And I got the, oh, wasn't that deep response. And it's like, oh, okay.
Which is, you're literally being passive to what I'm trying to tell you, and you're being dismissive to my feelings, which is a red flag.
A red flag.
In friendships and any relationship.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to.
But I had to learn, like, there are some people who they don't think that it's that deep, because that is really not that deep to them. And so I had to really understand that you cannot expect people to feel things as deeply as you. But I do, moving forward, I will be allowing myself to only get closer to people who can empathize and sympathize with what I'm feeling. They don't have to feel it as deeply as I do, but they will acknowledge it and say, okay, let's have a real conversation on how we can move forward. It's not that deep warriors, I cannot grow close with them. We can be kiki. We can go have a drink, have a laugh. We can talk about some stuff. We have a good time. But I feel most safest in the relationships where it's like, you feel me and I feel you. Do that make sense?
No, it does. You get me. When I talk to you about something that I'm feeling, you're like, okay, let me acknowledge this. Let me really think about how this affected her, and let me move accordingly. Now I know, like, won't do that again.
Because we're making each other feel seen.
Exactly. And safe in the friendship.
And that's the thing with, like, healing. You just have to understand that on top of how people were raised, they might not notice those things, or they might not consider those things to be deep, because when they would express those feelings to maybe their parents or people that's closest to them in their lives, they would disregard their feelings. So now they are what do you call it, putting that trauma like out onto their other friendships. So they might be doing it and may not be realizing it, but it's happening. And if you express something that you feel like may have been off, that they, or an action that they did, and they don't think it's that deep, and you do, I know that is where I am in this point. No, that's a long-winded answer.
No, that's a good answer, because you said something that made me think about something I think that is important for us to emphasize, is like being verbal and saying when you have a problem with something. And that's not something that was easy for me to do. And I'm just now like really learning to speak up. And this is something that me and like my best friend deal with, of talking about things that make each other feel some type of way. Like one time we were talking about something and I felt the energy was off, and I was like, girl, you being kind of weird. Like, and she like, weird, she took attack and offense to me saying you're being weird. And it was just like, well, that's just how I be talking sometimes. But I had to realize, like, okay, she doesn't like that, so let me stop using words like that, even though it's in my vocabulary, what I normally say. Accountability. And then it's like, if she wouldn't have never told me that made her feel some type of way, I probably would have been using like different words and stuff, not knowing that that's making her feel some type of way. And I think that it is important to speak up when something hurts our feelings, even if we think it's small. And that's something that I need to learn to do, because I be making excuses. I be like, oh, they ain't mean it like that. Or I be in my head thinking like, they ain't mean it like that. Did they really say that? They made me feel some type of way. Am I overthinking?
No,
like
real.
I be going through all the emotions.
Yes, you have to, because I think that's a big thing, you're taking accountability. One of the main things that I'm big on before I tell someone about themselves or tell them how they may have made me feel, I will acknowledge how my role in the situation could have maybe made them react in that way as well. So like in that instance, I'm like, I reacted like this. That wasn't okay, but I reacted like that because, right? Like, it's not okay that I react like that. I could have reacted better, but this is why I did it. So like, let's talk about that. I'm going to give them room to talk and like give an explanation, but there are some people who just, they don't feel like they owe anybody an explanation. Like I said, those
that's
type
so
people
toxic.
I can't grow close with. We can be cool, we can have a kiki, but when it real down to the nitty gritty, me calling you one of my intimate friends, we cannot grow intimate because I don't know how to navigate those type of relationships.
I need to feel at peace, like warmth in my heart,
because that's how you feel you can be like your real self. I feel like I'm always going to be tiptoeing around that like person.
Nobody got time for that.
I'm cool.
No thanks.
No thank you.
What are the 3 most things you value in friendship? I feel like we touched on this. So being able to be verbal, feel at peace in the friendship, and then I would say genuineness, knowing that friend is genuine. And what's one other thing you would add to something you value in friendship?
So I say honesty. I said honesty, empathy, and I couldn't think of a third one, but as of now, given the conversation right now, I would say having healthy boundaries with one another, and obviously like having those boundaries, but helping each other understand why they are there. If you have the capacity to even explain yourself, nobody has to explain themselves to me, but I am so grateful for the people that I have in my life who does take the extra mile in explaining, because that's when I noticed that they genuinely care about our friendship growing but beyond one spot, but also 2, they make me feel safe to be vulnerable with them. So that's the third thing I would say. The third thing I would add is the freedom to be yourself. It's like either you accept me for me even when the things that may annoy you get on your nerves, like you don't try to change me. I'm not speaking about bad things, negative things that need to be changed. I'm speaking about the parts of you that make you right. Like parts of me is dramatic. That's one part that sometimes, right? Don't try to minimize me. Like, I'm sorry, it's just a part of me. So I don't want to feel like, ooh, let me not react how I would normally react because she might feel some type of way. No. Like, you should have the freedom to be yourself in any friendship, in any relationship, period. And that's why I said it's like those 3 pillars. I liked how they broke it down to where it's like you have your intimates, you have your homegirls, and then you have your acquaintances, right? My intimate friends, they getting invited to the family dinners. They are getting invited to the trips or whatever. Because I can be ranchy Talijah, the next minute we gonna be talking about the Bible scripture. You feel me? And then I have my like homegirls, and we might only go to church together. We might only go out and get a little drink. We might go to networking events. Then I have my associates. We're like, oh, we see each other when we see each other, So I think that kind of like helps me understand those boundaries with myself and with those people and what I can and can't, what versions of myself I can and can't let out in certain instances. Does that make sense? Yes, girl, you really touched on what I was gonna say, and we was gonna get into that later on. We can just talk about it right now of how it's okay to have friends for different things, like you said, intimates, homegirls, and associates. Intimates, homegirls, and associates, like, and it's okay to separate them. Every friend is not your friend to come to the cookout, and every friend is not your friend to go to church with. Maybe she don't want to go to church, and that's okay. That don't mean they can't be your friend. Right. She don't want to go to church with you. Right. And you can't expect everything out of one friend. That's something that I had to learn too. Like, one person cannot give you every single thing. That's why there are intimates, homegirls, and associates. Like, we all have them, and it's okay to put them in those categories. It doesn't mean they're less of a friend. It just means like this is what we bring to each other. I had a situation to where, and this is pre-grown me, right? Pre-healed me. I had a very interesting attachment style when it came down to, like I said, I always been the type of person that had maybe like that one friend. And like you said, everyone cannot be your only friend. Oh my God. But I grew up in a sort of mindset of like, oh, if they can't do this, that's not your real friend. So we do Next,
Yes.
I've learned that now in my adulthood that it's okay to categorize your friends. You're going to have to do that, but it's also okay when they categorize you. You might be in a spot that you didn't think that you were in. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay, because that's not to say that you can't grow to be their intimate friend, or you know what I'm saying. Like, so, anywho, I had an instance where I thought that I was the intimate friend, but it came out that I'm like more so of the home girl. And it hurt my feelings really bad.
How did you realize it?
Okay, so okay, how can I say
whatever
that?
you want to say?
Okay, so how did I realize it? It was an instance to where it was an instance to where they were showing signs of, because it's not favoritism, because they grown, you could do whatever you want, but it was like showing signs of things that I would do for like my friends that I held in a high regard, but they would only do that towards one friend. And then when it came down to me, but blatantly in my face, it'll be like, oh, we going here tomorrow? Oh, where you going Talijah? Like,
you don't see me. I'm not invited to.
But you on the phone, like, talking to the friend. I'm right there, like, okay, yeah, girl, we good. And then you hang up, be like, okay, like, and I'm like, So that's when I started to take it personal, because this is in a point in my life where it was a very interesting time. But not only to say that, it was, I placed value in my friendships a little bit too much. Like, I took it as a personal attack on my character. Yes. And so I had to understand that it wasn't that. It was just, it's okay for them to consider someone else more closer to them than me, even though I consider them to be one of my closest friends. During that time, what I should have did was understood my role and just simply played that, and that would have been fine. Or I could have just not been friends with the person anymore, but the way that I verbalized how I felt, it was like wrong time. And then that just kind of like severed the whole thing. Yeah. So it was my fault. I'll take accountability.
That could be tricky though, because I feel like I'm the same way, where I used to really let things take attack on, or I used to feel some type of way, like, you coming from my character in a way where it's really not that. Like, you have to disassociate it from that, which is something that you have to grow to learn in different experiences. So what boundaries do you feel like you set, besides the one we just spoke about, and putting friends into different compartments? I feel like mine is communication, which we spoke about too. Making sure, but more so of making sure it's not one-sided. Like, I'm not about to be calling you all the time. Like, I'm very vocal about the fact that I would call. Like, I like to talk on the phone, but if you ain't calling, I'm not about to keep calling you. Yeah. And maybe people would say I don't think it's petty, but I think that's like a way to talk about what's important for the relationship. What do you like? Which way do you like to communicate? And for me, it's on the phone, because I don't like to text all day. Me either. I'm on my phone every single day with what I got to do for work. I don't got time to be texting all day, but I will
pick up that phone.
But I'd rather.
So funny, that was like one of my replies to one of the other questions. But no, I feel that.
Pick up the phone. Let's talk. Like, let's kiki on the phone.
I think it's like, I don't know if it's something with our generation to where they don't like to pick up that phone. Child. Maybe this conversation that's lasting 10 days in texting, we could have had this in 5 minutes.
Literally
5, maybe 2 hours if we kiki. But don't text me, please. Call me. Please. You better calling me, honestly. Yeah. Anyway, wait, what was the question again?
What other boundaries do you set? What's another boundary you set in your friendships?
Another boundary I set is, and this goes kind of towards like one of the other questions as well, but you have to have some goals, right? You don't have to be as overly ambitious as me. You don't have to have the goals of you trying to own a house, you trying to get married, or you don't have to have like overly ambitious goals, but I feel like you should be trying to go somewhere, wherever that is for you in your life, whether that's you focusing on your relationship with God, or you trying to get that new car. I don't know, something, because I feel like in situations to where I have maybe people surrounded by me who are not as goal oriented, it kind of starts to get that like deflection. And I don't necessarily know if I have the mental bandwidth to deal with that. Right? I am a empathetic person for sure, But when it comes down to the deflecting thing, that's when I kind of have to stop it. Like, I can move. I have grace for you, of course, as we should, but I also can have grace for you while you are over there.
Right.
I'm very big on that boundary. Like, give grace to people, but you can be at my face at the same time. Like, I can't do don't try to do the like, we're not about to do that. It just because, or the little small little jokes, if you feel like you're somewhere and I'm here, we not about to do that. None of my homegirls, thank God, none of my friends, my homegirls, anybody in my life do that. But I just couldn't fathom having someone who tried to make me feel the type of way for where I am in life.
Where you
I
are,
had a comment recently towards someone, which is just like close to me, which was very surprising. Was like, "Oh, you think you're perfect, huh?"
I never said that.
I never said that. I don't act like that. And what's funny is you see all of the imperfections up close and personal, and you're still saying it. And so you feel some type of way of where you are, where you aren't.
So you're
and trying to make me feel some type of way of where I am. The whole time, I'm not trying to make you feel no type of way for where you are, where you aren't. I'm meeting you where you at, because at the end of the day, you're still a good person.
I want us to talk about the struggle to make friends in adulthood.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
I feel like one of the biggest struggles right now to make friends as you're going throughout your 20s, and maybe this is, I know girls, like women, we have a different experience with friendships as we do a man. So I will have a conversation with the guys about friendships too. But I know with the girls, it's like more like we're more invested, emotional. It's just so many different layers to friendships for us. So I feel like one of the biggest things that is hard about making friends right now is people's intentions. Like, you never know. Do you want to be my friend, especially with social media? Yeah. Do you want to be my friend because you see me and you think I look cute? Right. So let's go hang out. Yeah. I'm not really a fan of that.
The opportunist. I can't. I had an experience like that before, and
it didn't end well.
No, it didn't end well because the person, I guess, initially didn't get the benefit that they thought that they were going to get out of being my friend.
See,
it was giving the, oh, why aren't you posting tagging me sort of thing. because they wanted to get some followers, I guess, off of being tagged. And meanwhile, I'm like, everybody around me telling me like, girl, I don't know about, and I'm like, no, like, she cool. I mean, and me and this person, we clicked on so many different levels. It was like one of those moments where it's like, dang, I've been praying for a friend like this, like, God, church, we cool. But I have learned that when, this is why even with men, you don't tell them exactly what you're looking for up front, and kind of expose some of the quote unquote traumas that you may have went through with past relationships either. Okay, you might want to have that same mindset when it comes down to navigating friendships, especially in your adulthood, because it's easy for people to transform into who they think you want them to be. And when the mask kind of gets so hard for them to keep on and it falls off, it will throw you off guard. It will throw you for a doozy. So just throwing it out there.
Literally. Because when you tell somebody what you're looking for, they gonna transform into what you're looking for. If you tell somebody the trauma, all the bad things you've been through, child, they might use it against you, or they might see how much you can take. They might go higher. You done went through this. They like, let me aim for this. They'll deal with it because you done deal with all of you dealt with all of those other things. So yeah, that's a big one.
It is.
That's a big one. You really have to be clear on. It's hard to be clear on people's intentions. Like we said, people want to meet up just from seeing you on social media, but why? It's not about me and what I portray on social media, because I don't even give my personality on social media unless you listen to the podcast.
I love that for you. Actually, I love that for you. Great balance. Great balance.
Yes, girl. I have to.
I love that. Never had to give you your little toodles because, girl, I'll be like, dang, do I want to show personality today or what? Because I like
when people show their personality on social media though, but it is like you have to feel people. You have to feel people out. So I want to talk about how you've built a community for girls to find friends right now in adulthood. Talk to me about the inspiration behind starting this girls group and focusing on bringing young girls together in their 20s, outside of their 20s, to come and do fun things like art museum, all of those activities that you've been doing.
So it started off, well, first off, I joined Bubble BFF, And a lot of people ask, like, when I meet up with the girls that I meet on Bubble BFF, obviously that's one of the main questions that we ask each other. Why are you on here? And so my thing is, a lot of my close, intimate friends, they are navigating different phases in life that we probably can't relate to, but we still have other areas that we relate to a little bit too much that I would care for, in a sense of like, we come from the same background, same family dynamics, so those sort of things. And I felt like if I'm asking God to help me renew my mind, I also need to change my environment. And there may come a time in your 20s where you don't have the bandwidth to maybe take the trip, or you might have the bandwidth to take the trip, but you might not necessarily have the people to take it with. So I think that it's important to like broaden your horizon and start to talk to people who may come from different backgrounds as you, to really open up your eyes to a different way of living, maybe just like a different world, right? So even having those friends who may have had a different family dynamic than you, they may be going through a phase where they're navigating being a wife for the first time, or starting school again, or whatever. I feel like it's important to have people with different mindsets and different backgrounds, because that will help you get out of that like circle of the same sort of mindset. Mm-hmm. But like I said, love my friends, love them down, but it's just important for me at this point in my life to kind of like get more acclimated with people who have different things going on in life as well.
It is. I think that is extremely important. And one thing about that is that we have to, like, if you want to meet friends, you have to get out and try to do it in different ways. If you're not meeting no friends, you cannot keep going to the same places or sitting in your house thinking that you're going to meet a friend.
Let me tell y'all a story, actually, how I have, like, two of my good homegirls now. One of my good homegirls, I met her at the gym. One day, I was on the treadmill, and it was, like, broke or making a weird noise. So I got on the one next to that. She came and got on the one next to me. And I was like, girl, I took my headphone off. I'm like, girl, I think that treadmill is broke. And so she was like, really? We started the whole conversation. We've been friends for 2 years now. She didn't change cities, all of that. That's like one of my good homegirls. Another one of my friends, I was at the block party outside. I was at a block party, and this is tipsy me. But I'm like, I'm very social when I get tipsy. So anywho, she's walking by herself, and I'm like, you want to come hang with us? And she was like, yeah. And we've been friends ever since. So it's just like you kind of have to have that like introvert, and that's another thing too for my introverted girlies, because I know that is also a thing. We have to make spaces for our introverted homegirls as well.
The gym is somewhere where I met a friend too.
I'm about to say that's the thing. That's like the trend is like meeting someone in common spaces.
Yes.
And I feel like that's so intimidating in this day and age with social media. We can take meeting someone off social media as like our common space, but it's not.
It's not.
Go out and meet people in real life, Pookie.
Please,
because that's how you get past those red flags if you meet them in real life first as well.
You can feel
it's
energy.
Same thing for men and dating.
Okay.
Little tip. Same thing for men and dating, but like go out and meet people in real life as well, because that you can get that more authentic personality, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. As much as people be getting catfished in dating, you can get catfished in friendships. They are not how they really are online sometimes. So feel that energy out in person.
Yes. That's one of my biggest fears. Like, ooh, do I get the same vibe in real life that I get? But I really hope, like, this day and age, I hope that I give a better personality in real life than I do on social media. I like to gatekeep these days my personality on social media, and then when you meet me in real life, oh, she's a vibe. That's cool. What I want.
Yes, cool, chill, laid back, fun, can talk about anything. That's the vibe you give.
Yes,
yeah,
good.
You really gotta feel people vibes out, because you never know.
You never know.
People could be mean girls.
All right, you're getting into it.
Listen, there are real mean girls out there, so be careful.
Yes.
You recently hosted your first event. So tell me, how did that go? How was it?
Girl, it went really, really well. I think that God kind of spoke to me in a sense of letting me know I have a good way of curating events to put people that may not be like-minded but have similar values, and people who are like on that same goal-oriented sort of mindset. It was such a vibe, and a lot of the girlies, like, they're still like, when is the next event? Because I think that it was more so of a place where people feel like they can be themselves, right? We had our corporate girlies there, we had the entrepreneur girlies there, we had the girls that are still figuring it out, we had moms, like every sort of girls that love art, girls that didn't know anything about art but just came for the vibe. So I really loved it.
And y'all went to eat, and then y'all went to the the art museum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so nice.
It was so funny because I initially had it to where it's like, oh, we're going to go to the museum and then like take pictures, and this is the time for us to network and get to know each other. But then some of the girls were like, actually, we kind of want to know about the art too. Can you? Aww. And obviously, I told them I'm an art major, which I am. I go to school for visual communication right now, and I'm getting my BA in visual communication right now. So they were like, we actually want to know about art. And I'm like, ooh, I do know how to talk about art, but I wasn't expecting to do that today, girl.
Right.
I put out my phone. Ooh, my bad. I talk with my hands. But I put out my phone and took pictures of a few of the things. So there was like Andy Warhol pieces and stuff we talked about. And it actually was a vibe. I was like, oh, okay, well, I need to know this for next time to have a mentally prepared that people actually did come here for the art.
Right.
And the networking, the pictures and the things. Note it for next time. That's something I would do better next time. Like actually get into the art of things.
And did you have any reservations or hesitations to setting this up?
I did only because I wanted to curate it to be more so of a different how do you say it? Like a collective of women, white, Hispanic, Black, and more so turned out to be Black women, which I'm not mad at. But if we're talking about broadening our horizons as people, and especially just tapping into different communities and discourses, we have to have like the Hispanic girlies there. I want some more of my, German sisters. I don't know, random stuff. So I think that I want to do a better job of making it more so of a community for everyone. It's for us, by us at the end of the day, okay?
Yeah.
It's for my girlies. But I also wanted to be, like I said, more so of a diverse
community
of women.
Yeah, I love that. And that was what I was going to ask. What did you learn from bringing this group together? So I think that's really good what you're building. I haven't seen anyone do something like that. So when I saw it, I DM'd you. I was like, this is really nice. Like, what?
I was inspired, actually. It's a Black Girls in Art Spaces. I think they're based in London.
Okay.
And I was very inspired by them because, like I said, there isn't a lot of spaces for Black women who might be the quirky, nerdy. Yes. Like, we love to talk about art. Baby, I could talk about art for days. Okay, I could talk about design. We want to talk about it. I could talk about color theory. So we can't talk about it anymore. So I'm like, where my girlies at that has those type of conversations? Like I said, I have my friends, my intimates. They can listen to me talk about art, but they don't know.
Yeah, right. I don't know what to say. I can't really help you with that.
So it's like being a designer, and that's another thing too. Like being a designer or even a creative Black woman in the Midwest, in Ohio, doubling down on it in Ohio, it's very interesting to find those communities of Black women that have similar backgrounds as me, I feel like, that also care about the arts. So I want to find them. That was my way of finding more of us. But definitely more of, got our white sisters, our Hispanic girlies, they more than welcome to join as well. There's just nothing like having someone that looks like you that kind of can like talk on the same level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's why if you're in corporate, like I'm a corporate girly, corporate girlies come together and we talk about stuff because we know, like, it's nice to have someone who knows what corporate culture really is like. Because I can't talk to my friend who's an entrepreneur and talking to her about corporate. She like, girl, you had to say what in what type of way? Like, why are you talking like that?
I talk about them emails.
I don't know. I don't have a clue.
I'll be like, the acclamation. Girl,
they be talking about circle back, all of that. I'll be, come on, can we use real words? We have to stop that. I won't do it.
Did you see the video where it was like, we have you been in a meeting and you said a nigga word and it's like, I didn't nigga the yes. Girl, I did it the other day. I was like, oh my god.
Listen, I don't be talking that corporate talk no more. I'm sorry, I don't have it in me to be trying to say all these different words. I mean, sometimes I do if I have to, but I also work in the Black space, so sometimes they talk like how we talk. But I really hope and pray that we get out of that corporate talk.
It's probably not gonna happen.
I don't want to circle back.
Yeah,
I don't want to bump this up. I will not be pinging you.
Ping, girl, they love the ping.
No, I'm gonna text you. Like, what are we talking about? Let's talk about building a strong community.
Yes.
First of all, I love how you are an example of building your own community. Like, you wanted to find girlies to talk about arts and have the same interests as you, so you built it. And you also are introverted, so that was really big for you to do that. Like, get out of your space and build this community and be open to all these girls coming who you don't know.
I don't know.
Strangers putting this together. Like, that is really nice. What do you feel like is needed to show up and build a community in our 20s?
I think that, for one, like, being your authentic self, of course, is needed to show up and building community, because how can you build a true community to where people are going to be able to, like, dive in to get to know you if you aren't showing up as yourself? Granted, there are times and places, like, for instance, when we're talking about corporate, you have to show up as a different version of Kaya or, you know, Mo, whatever. But there's nothing like when you're actually trying to build a true community of people, you need to show up as yourself. Also, kind of back to what we were saying earlier, get off that phone. Okay?
Oh my God.
Get off that phone.
In the field.
Get in the field. In speaking to my introverted girlies as well, I know it's easier said than done, but it's so much more rewarding to build community outside of the phone, because you get to show up in different ways. Sometimes you might have that community where it is where you only talk about art, or it might be the community where y'all only talk about God, but you don't know that unless you, like, actually be in the space. Like, put yourselves in rooms and please make yourself a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Uncomfortability is very important for growth. And especially when it comes down to, like, navigating and making friends in your 20s, I think.
In any area of life, you have to get uncomfortable in order to go to the next level. So when you feel uncomfortable, that just means something good is about to happen. A change. Hopefully a good change.
A good change.
I would also add, get rid of letting social media tell you what you want in a friend.
Ooh.
Can we get over that? Like,
no, that is the one.
Social media say your friend need to pay for your birthday dinner or something like that, and everybody out here thinking your friend need to pay for your $300 bill of you and everybody else, or they saying that your man need to pay for you and all your friends when y'all go out to dinner. Your man do not need to pay for your friends.
They don't.
Like, and we're in our 20s. He might not have it to pay for you and your 7 friends who ordered lamb chops, 3 lemon drops. Yeah. Like, no, stop. Don't.
That's my thing. I think of, like, a part of that getting off that phone is go touch some grass. We have to touch grass, because that's when you understand what your values are in terms of navigating relationships, whether they're platonic, familiar, romantic. You have to get off that phone, because sometimes it's easy to kind of get those unrealistic expectations of people who can't necessarily meet, like you said, the boyfriend or the friend. They might not be able to show up for you in that way, but at the end of the day, he's a good man. At the end of the day, she's a good friend. She might not be able to show up for that $300 birthday dinner, but she still is a friend of substance. So this is another thing too I want to talk about, is like, don't treat people as disposable.
Oh my God.
I think that's the thing that social media kind of taught people, is it's okay to treat people as disposable. No, it's not okay. Okay, everybody is going to serve a different purpose, but also everybody, give people grace to meet you and meet them where they get sometimes.
Yes, everybody is not disposable. That friend that you got might be your really good friend. Stop treating them
because she didn't show up to your birthday dinner.
Now you mad at her and you cut her off.
You cut her off. No explanation, no conversation needed.
It's disgusting. Like, let's have conversations. It's okay to get in a disagreement with your friend and y'all be friends the next day. Yeah,
she like a sister.
Exactly. I don't want to lose her. It's okay with saying I don't want to lose you in a friendship.
Vulnerability.
I said that
thing. So I feel like it's all of the things, like, people. It's the ick to be vulnerable, and I'm like, I don't know why.
No,
I don't like that.
Like, we need to start showing friends and whatever community we're building the same love that we give to other things. Literally,
I was gonna touch on that in the next. In the next
that's a big one. What's, like, one thing you're not willing to tolerate anymore?
One thing I am not willing to tolerate anymore is male-centered friends. At this age, at this point in life, I appreciate homegirls who are about their man, okay? Because I'm not one of those type of girls like, I don't need a man, I need a man, okay? I need a man. But it's like, I don't need a man.
Oh my God.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it's like, I need, like,
that's your whole
that's all
identity.
You think about. It's your whole
talk about. It's like, we could talk about the men at the end of the day, okay? We're going to get into it, but let's not make that the only thing that we're building our friendship on, or let's not make that your only thing about your personality. Do you have some goals? Like I said, your goals don't have to look similar as mine, or they don't have to be as overly ambitious, but you have to be going somewhere, sissy poo. Even if you're at a point in your life where you don't have any goals, you're coasting, that's cool, but we're not going to make it a male-centered time. I can't do the male-centered, because usually those type of girlies are not the best friends to have. They just value I don't know, like, it'll be easier for a male to do something to them over and over and over and over again, but the one time you do it or you might make a mistake, it's cut off. No conversation, no nothing.
Listen.
She don't care. She has boundaries when it comes down to you. When it comes down to that man, no boundaries. And I'm not saying that your platonic relationships and your romantic relationships are the same in the sense of intimacy. Because I had a homegirl who had made a comment like, she expect this out of me. I'm not fucking you. Like, I think that she knows that y'all are not intimate with each other. I think that she knows that you are friends, but it's okay for people to have expectations. Just say you don't want to meet the expectation.
Exactly.
But don't make her feel bad for having the expectation for friends. You're just not the friend that's going to meet that expectation.
Yes.
But don't make it male-centered. Like, let's not do that.
Please. There's so much more to life than talking about a man who probably ain't even sitting up talking about you. So why are we continuing to talk about...
And we can talk.
We can talk about it. No, we're gonna get into it all the time. But I'm saying, like, if you never talk about anything else, every time we reach out and we're talking, it's always that. Like, we can't even talk about what we doing today.
You found a way. We reverted right back to the
reverted right back. Like, everything 24/7. It's a no.
I'm cool. That's one of my biggest boundaries. Like, I can navigate with my homegirl through like so many different changes in her life. You know, she might have a season where she might not be able to talk to me for 2 months because she going through it. That's cool. But I can't do the male center. That's just my biggest nah.
And like you said, that's kind of a red flag for me because I did have an experience like that, and it was like, you gonna choose. When it comes down to loyalty or whatever, you're going to run and choose that man. When it's time to show up, you're with that man. So you have to be careful when you experience people like that.
Yeah, it's probably okay to be like that when we were in our early 20s, right? Like,
I don't think it was ever.
I was talking about it. No, it probably was
never okay.
But it's like,
but now we're growing.
When you're early 20s, it's like, oh, she went through her crash out phase. Okay, cool. That was cute. I mean, well, it actually wasn't cute. It was never cute, but it was like, that was a time then. I had my crash out phase behind a man too. We probably, you know, our first, they get us.
Okay.
They get us. We get God.
They will.
But don't let them keep you there. When you grown, you get this big ass age. Okay, you gotta grow up out of that. So you gotta come up
to that point, we shouldn't be doing things that we were doing like in high school or whatever, because in high school I always wanted to be with the guy who I was with at that time, like hanging out with him, and I'm like, I had to do a reality check. Oh, I need to hang out with my friends, but that was high school,
right?
That's over.
And we older now.
We're years past that, so it's like you can't like balance your time, like spend time with whoever and spend time with your friends too. Because when something happen, you gonna want to spend time with your friends to get away from.
And it always happens like that.
It always happens like that. Do you believe in the low maintenance, high maintenance friendships?
I love this question. I love this question so much because this kind of reverts back to the comment about social media and how it has made people perceive just relationships in general, and how because this is the thing, I would consider myself to be whatever type of friend that you need me to be, right? If I have a friend who wants me to be low maintenance, I'm cool. We don't have to talk every week, every month. If you want to talk once a month, okay, cool. I just understand we're not going to go deeper. Right. We can't go any deeper than talking once a month or once every 2 months. Like, that is going to just stay there. But I appreciate those friendships who are okay with, sometimes we're going to have those seasons where we require a little bit more out of each other, because you might, like I said, kind of back to that thing of like, you might have a friend who's going through a divorce. You might have a friend who is going through losing a loved one. They're going to need you to show up.
Yes.
And probably move into the high maintenance, quote unquote, category of a friend. And I think that is how relationships go, and we should kind of embrace that instead of trying to put people and stricken people to like one sort of mindset when it comes down to navigating friendships.
I agree.
That's just my thing on it. That's my take.
I think the low maintenance and high maintenance stuff, to be honest, I think it's just so dumb. I truly do. I think that this came out of, I don't know who brought this up on Twitter or Instagram, who decided that day that they wanted to make up this and make a conversation out of it, but I truly feel like it's low-key an excuse to a gateway to being a bad friend. Oh, I'm a low maintenance friend. I don't gotta talk to you every week, every month. We could talk once a month. I'm a low maintenance friend. It's giving an excuse to not be there for your friends. Show up. Like, I'm not for it. I feel like I'm not. I feel like you show up in whatever way you show up to that intimate homegirl or associate.
Okay.
However y'all show up to each other, that's how you should continue to do it. I don't think it should be based off of low maintenance or high maintenance. Because like, I'm fine with talking to my friends. We could text every day.
I'm about to say,
we text every day. Like, and that's fine with me.
That's fine with me too.
Talk on the phone. Like, I couldn't imagine going a whole week or 2 weeks without like talking to my best friend.
Right. Now your homegirl, like
your homegirl, you could go 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Whatever.
You know what I mean?
But like my best friend, once you, like you said, that energy shift, like that'll be an energy shift. Because once you get someone used to, whether it's a romantic relationship, especially, but like a platonic one, like once you get someone used to a certain type of communication, if you like stop it abruptly, it is going to be like a, ooh, what's going on? Like, literally, what happened? So it people are more inclined to take things a little bit personal the closer you get to them. So there is a certain level of communication that is required, whether you want to admit it or not. There is a certain level of communication that is required, because I feel like it's about respect. I respect that person to a certain regard that I would want them to. I want to clear everything that I possibly can, because some people might still take it away that they want to take it. You can't control that, but I would want to communicate, hey girl, I'm probably not gonna be talking to you for the next 2 weeks. I'm going through it right now. I might be going through surgery, I don't know, but pray for me. Okay, cool, friend. But you can't just like stop talking then expect them to be like, oh, she's just going through something, if this is your everyday friend. You know what I'm saying? And
then you can't just stop talking and be like, oh girl, I'm a low maintenance friend.
Think
about how crazy that sounds. Girl,
like, when did that happen? Like,
when did you become low maintenance?
You have to kind of explain that if you care about like clearing up them, because like I said, most of the time they're going to take a personal thing that they did something. Meanwhile, it's probably nothing that they did. You have to communicate, and that's something that I had to learn after like going throughout my early 20s, because I used to like go ghost when I was going through something. And mind you, I had a couple friends who I talked to every single day. So I just go ghost. I just didn't feel like talk. I didn't even want to look at that phone. And then it became like, well, what's going on? Like, why didn't you just say anything? So sometimes, well, all the time, you should just say, not feeling it. Like, I'm just not in a good place. And they will be able to understand rather than going ghost. I don't recommend that. And that's something that I had to learn to stop doing. And this is my thing too. Like, don't do anything towards someone that you wouldn't like done towards you. So if you don't want, if you will feel some type of way towards a abrupt goodness, I don't know what's going on, abrupt like form of communication, then consider that other person may feel the same way too. Like, try to always put yourself in someone else's shoes instead of trying to expect them to like read your mind, I guess. That's definitely something that I had to grow in. So I'm speaking to myself, preaching to the choir with that one, for sure.
Literally, because everybody isn't you. Back to that, everybody isn't you. You can't expect you other people.
Exactly.
How do you go about balancing your friendship and also your life? Because like, you're in school and everything, and then you're also working, and then working on your creative things as well. How do you balance that?
Girl, I'm still learning. I don't know. Like, I'm like, if it's one thing about me, if I don't know and I don't know how to answer to it, I'm be like, girl, I don't know. I'm still figuring it out. And I'm definitely just leaning on just taking it day by day and understanding like what type of friends need what from me, and trying my best to show up as that. Right. So if, like I said, if I have a homegirl who may be going through something that I maybe can't relate to, but I'm going to try to empathize and show them that I empathize with them as much as I can. That's what I have, and that's the capacity that I have in this season. But I feel like I'm in a really good place with the friends that I have now, to where we're really good on communication, to where if we don't talk to each other for a while, the last time we talked, we kind of like understand, like, oh, she going through X, Y, and Z. We don't do the, why she doing this, or she probably weird, she acting weird. Like, we're cool, and I'm very grateful for that point. And my friendships, to where I feel like we're at a good spot. So thankful for that. That's kind of where I'm in.
That's really good, because I know, like we were saying, some people take offense to when you can't really talk or have those moments where you can't speak, and it's like, we have to grow to a place where you trust your friend, you have a relationship with your friend to the point where you know that she's not gonna be weird to you. Like, please.
Trust is a big that's a big one.
Yes, it is. I think I balance my time by just making sure I plan ahead of meeting up with my friends. Like, I like to do friend dates at least once a month. Depending on our schedules, maybe we could do it more. It just depends. But also making sure that we like check in with each other, because sometimes you could be texting and talking to a friend, but you're talking about other stuff and you haven't checked in.
Right.
That's why having those friend dates are important, and catching up and stuff. Like, you have to nurture and pour into your relationships. Yeah. So let's touch on loneliness and how not having a lot of friends can affect you. Has that ever impacted you, like feeling lonely from not having a solid friend group, or even having two friends at that?
Yes, it definitely has, because like I said, in the past instance, I would take it as a personal attack on my character. But I had to really like sit down and understand, girl, you don't really talk to anybody. You haven't put yourself in those spaces to even like hone or harvest those type of close, intimate bonds with people. So it's either, I had to get that mindset of either we're going to do something about it or we're going to shut up about it. So I just decided to take the proactive way and do something about it. When I first started off trying to like get myself to get more acclimated with putting myself out there and trying to make friends, it was very hard. It was a very like interesting thing of being vulnerable with people and stuff like that, and understanding if I can trust them. But one of the biggest things for me at this point is appreciating the slow burn. And what I mean by that is, when I first, like I said, started the journey of trying to get more of a solid friend group, quote unquote, kind of reverting back to the conversation about the friend that I had previously, when I feel like we clicked, it was like, when I feel like you're my friend, girl, I'm telling you about this, I'm talking to you about that. And it kind of like, it kind of progressed really fast. But then when the friendship ended, it hurt me a little bit more, because I feel like we had I feel like we were close, but I had to learn that you need to take your time and growing close with people, because it won't be that hard of a detachment. I'm not one of those type of friends who don't feel the type of way if you don't come to my birthday dinner, right? I have people.
I do.
Show up. I've had friends who didn't come to my birthday dinners, but they were like, these are some of my like solid like homegirls. But I did have one instance. I was being very delusional. I had one instance to where I had a homegirl tell me that they couldn't come to my birthday dinner, and one of my friends was like, "Girl, did you see like Ashley at the party last night?" And I'm like, "No." And she was like, "Yeah, she went out with Mariah." And I'm like, "But she told me she couldn't come." But then, even then, I was like, "Oh, you know what? Probably Mariah paid for her to get into the club." Mariah probably, like, that was literally like my mind. Like, I never took it to the heart when if people can't come to my birthday dinner. Like, it was never, because birthday dinners aren't that like deep to me.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that friend takes their birthdays very serious. If you don't do they wait for their birthday, they cutting you off. Ooh. So I had to learn that was intentional, right? To a person or a friend who doesn't hold their birthday to high regards, if they don't treat my birthday in that same sentiment, then it's like, okay, you don't treat your birthday. But it's like, if you treat your birthday at the high regard and then you turn around, you did do that on purpose.
Yes,
you did.
Exactly. That is so funny. That's why you have to know your friends, because I'm a big birthday person. I feel like it's a part of how you were raised, you know?
People have free will.
Yeah.
And I am going to expect them to use it at so whether it's showing up to my birthday dinner or not showing up to my birthday dinner, that is going to show me and help me understand where you value me and how important it is for you to make time for me. If you don't find it important to make time for me, then cool. Then I know you have moved to, congratulations. You have moved to associate.
Congratulations, you have been demoted.
And that's cool, because I probably am not that important. Obviously, I'm not that important, you know, for you to make time, because time is free. For you to make time for me either. But it's like, I just take mental note, like, okay, same. I'm not like, so I moved on from taking mental note and being like, but I'm taking mental note and be like, okay, girl, you want to go out and have drinks, you know, so often, cool, we can do that. But birthday dinner, you're not getting invited to my birthday dinner every year because I'm never giving you. This is my thing. I'm not going to give you the chance to not come to my birthday dinner again. If you don't come, cool. We can still kiki kaka, but you're not probably going to get invited the next time.
Like I'm not setting my own self up for disappointment. I'm not.
But especially, so my thing is birthday dinners. I don't care about birthday dinners, but I do care about like graduations.
Okay, yes,
stuff like that.
Yeah,
that is my like non-negotiable because of how hard, and I feel like a lot of people see how hard I work to get to certain places. And if it's one thing about me, I'm the friend that's going to show up when you crying. I'm the friend that's going to show up when it's your birthday. I'm the friend that's going to show up when it's your grandma's 50th birthday, like with gift in my hand and everything. So if you don't organically show that sort of like reciprocity, then I'm going to just understand my category.
Yeah.
And that's that.
And graduations are like once in a lifetime. Like if you know certain things are important to your friend, show up, be there. Yeah. Like just that's all you got to do.
Because you're going to show up for that man.
Okay. You go show up. And that was the thing that we talked about, how girls are quick to cut off a friend, but won't cut off that man.
And it's like, okay, I mean,
okay, sister.
That's your.
I hope you ain't left with no friends, right? Cut everybody out.
We have free will.
What do you feel like you can work on as a friend? Like, what's one thing you feel like you can work on right now as a friend?
One thing I definitely can work on is texting back, and I know it sounds childish, probably, but I definitely can work on texting back. Because I have had friends communicate to me. Like, hey, girl, like, I had the other day, I had someone that's discipling me. She texted me back and was like, wow, I got to text back. What? And it's like, oh, my gosh.
See,
I feel bad.
When somebody says something like that means you are not responsive. Okay.
And how do I expect myself to really hone those, like, authentic relationships and help them understand, like, we can go deeper if I don't send, because texting is not that big of an energy. Sending a text back is not that big of an energy. But also, I can be a little bit more communicative and let them know, please call my phone.
Right.
Please call my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm not that good at communicating that either. So that's something I definitely want to get better at is texting, because there have been a lot of girls that I've met off of Bumble BFF, and we clicked a lot, but the friendship kind of dwindled because I stopped texting back. But not because it was like, oh, I don't want to text them, or oh, I feel like I'm important. It's never that. It's like my mind is racing, I feel like sometimes at 1,000 miles per minute. And I might have typed the text message, but I didn't send it. Or I might feel like it took too much mental bandwidth for me, so I want to send a voice note. But it's like, the voice note might be too long. Right. So, yeah.
So what do you do in different relationships? Like, say, does that show up in, like, your romantic relationships, too, where you don't text back? Or do you just talk on the phone? Is it both ways, you feel like?
So, no, in my romantic relationship, we call each other. Yeah. We're always talking on the phone.
Yeah.
So, or around each other, like, face-to-face. Right. So, there isn't anything with that. I think that, like I said, in this day of social media, people kind of find it hard to not want to be the... feel too needy, because I found myself in that like mindset too, like, oh, what if they don't feel like talking right now, or what if they want to talk every day, but I really want more out of that friendship, but I don't know how to communicate that. And like I said, I'm really working on like the slow burn friendships thing, because when I click well with somebody, I'm quick to be like, let's go, like you're not my best friend, you know, I'm not my best friend, but you are my homegirl, where I feel like if we connect on a lot of levels, I'm going to want to talk to you on the phone. Now, if we only connect on one sort of thing, whatever, we can text, whatever, but if I feel like I want that friendship to go somewhere else and deeper, I'm usually want to talk to you on the phone. So that's something that I definitely can get better at, for sure. I
feel that. So I want to get into a little quick game before we end the conversation.
This is such a good conversation.
I know. This is a game called Friendship Red Flags and Green Flags. So I'm just asking quick questions, and we both say green flag or red flag. Okay, so you ready? You looking nervous.
I am.
And disclaimer, this has nothing to do with either one of our friendship dynamics. These are just random questions. Okay,
bring it on.
When you vent to your friend, they give you honest feedback that you may not like. Is that a green flag or a red flag?
That's a green flag to me, because but with parameters, right? It's about how you say it. I'm sensitive about my okay.
If it's too blunt,
like, all right. But I have found myself being that type of person that can be a little bit too blunt as well. So that's definitely something I can work on too. For sure. So I think that's a green flag, though. I love honesty in a friendship. Like, don't have me out here just dilly-dallying.
Yeah.
In the wrong parameters. Like, okay, let's dilly-dally where it makes sense, sissy.
Your friend says things about you in a joking way. But it's like, she says something like, girl, what you got that baggy skirt on for?
Red flag. And that's when I said that's that friend that in their head, they're in some type of, I don't know, like competition, or they feel like either you're here and they're there, and so they're deflecting that insecurity or that quote unquote superiority that they feel like they have. And I can't get jiggy with that because we can't grow close. I'm not gonna feel like I can be my authentic self around you, so I'd rather not be around you at all.
Same. Big red flag. Don't be trying to talk about me in a joking way. I know sometimes I feel like it's different with girls, because I think guys joke around and stuff, but they ain't hating when they say stuff. Or maybe they are. I don't know how the guys operate, but I feel like guys could say something to their guy friends and be like, man, what you got that on for? But they just be joking. But with girls, it's kind of like different. That's why I say the dynamics are so different.
It is, but this is the thing too. Like, if you don't, it depends on how well I know you as well, right? Okay, so if we just now like getting to know each other and you throwing little shots, and I'm like, girl, I don't even know you like that for you making that type of joke. Yeah. But it just, I don't know. You have to know the person, and I don't know. That also comes with a thing like, should I be taking this too personal? Should I not?
Right. Yeah. It depends on y'all relationship too, because sometimes people can have that type of banter. Where we, like,
I love good banter. Don't get me wrong. I love good kiki. I love a good banter. I sometimes consider myself having dark humor, but boundaries. Yeah.
Boundaries important. So when you reach out to your friend and they take days to respond, but they're posting on social media. Ooh. Red flag or green flag?
This is me. Actually, you're calling me out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I'm calling
I know. That is a red flag in the sense of like the urgency, I think, of the topic. But even then, there is no excuse. Like I said, that's something if I'm big on accountability, okay? That's definitely something that I can work on. But I expect my friends to not take it as personal when I do it, because like I'm not doing it in a sense of like I'm disregarding what you have to say to me, but it can be taken like that, and so that is something that I have to consider. So that's not okay. I'm going to take some accountability for that and say, no, that probably is a red flag, but like not in the sense of where you need to cut that person off. Like, have the conversation,
right? Yeah, have that talk. Yeah, I feel like it depends on if they're intimate homegirl or associate.
That part too.
Because I have friends who do not text back, like they are horrible at responding. I'm just like,
but they like a vibe person.
But they're like,
you know, when you call them, they pulling up.
Right? Exactly. So it's not that serious to me. But then say if it's another relationship that might be an intimate, then I'll be like, girl, what are you doing? You see my text, and you up here posting, because they'll do the same thing to me. So it just depends, y'all. So you get into it with your friend, and they post about y'all problem or situation that involves y'all on the internet.
And this is one thing where I would say it's a heck to the no. For me, we can't see, I'm okay with rekindling friendships, right? If you didn't take it to the internet, and if it didn't actually get to like a low blow, like we didn't actually physically fight each other or get in some type of something like that. But if you think that you're going to sit up here and tell all of our business and stuff like that on social media, I can't trust you. The trust is broken. So yeah, that's a big red flag for me. I can't do it.
Red flag for me too. So while we're wrapping it up, tell people how they can get involved in your friendship group.
Yes. Okay. So I am starting a friendship group, or I guess like a networking, artsy girl, all of the things. You can find more about us at, Eunoia Circle on Instagram. That is EUNOIA.circle, and there is a space for us to just feel safe as women, come together and be your authentic self. Whatever you are, whatever space that you are in life, whether you're a mom, you're still navigating life, whatever it may be, you can come and join the circle and just have fun, join the vibes.
Yes. And then also really quick, you are just like learning and being educated on endometriosis.
Yes.
So to the girlies who may be experiencing that, what would you say to them?
Do not gaslight yourself or allow people to gaslight you, whether it's a doctor, a family member, or whatever. It hurts. It does. But also don't wait too long to get help. I know it's a very scary experience, but please take the proper precautions to just look after your body, because it is something that is serious, and it's definitely something that needs to be talked about more. So get a part of communities that actually make you feel seen and feel heard, because if you do not, you will potentially like drive yourself crazy with the pain. So it's real, and it definitely needs to be talked about more.
Yeah, it is real. A lot of girls are going through it in their 20s for sure. Yeah. And thank you for talking about that too. I love this conversation. Thank you so much. Tell people where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram at Talijah Moet. That is TALIJAH MOET. And I do fashion, lifestyle, all the things. I don't consider myself an influencer, but me and the girlies, we have a good kiki. We have a good vibe on there. So if you like all of those things, creativity, definitely come and join the family.
Yes, follow her. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for more and like and subscribe.
Bye.